You should be live now.
Cool.
Awesome. We're live.
So
Awesome.
Stand by, guys. I'm trying to wait for this Zoom to do this crazy YouTube screen flip. This is always awkward, so stand by for one moment.
You're good.
Usually I have a co-host that an MC like Adam who handles announcements. Like introductions while I'm waiting for the screen to flip, but I think we're live, so we should be good. Can somebody confirm?
Yeah, let's
see here.
Yes, we are live. I got it. I confirm.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can see myself.
Hi, guys. Let me get back over here. Today, I've got Bruno and Brian on with me, who Bruno I just actually met, but Brian has been a mastermind member for quite some time, and got to meet him in person at PoFu Live last year, our live event. Brian's a badass, and I highly respect him. He's got some really good information. I've shared some of his articles and stuff that he's posted before. So he's a good guy, good agency owner. These two guys have got something really cool that we're going to be sharing today, or they're going to be sharing with you today. I'm just going to be here really for moral support. And by the way, just want to give everybody a quick preference before I introduce you guys, honestly, is there's not going to be anything to buy today. We're just going to give you a high level view of high level so that you guys can get an understanding of what it is that we're introducing to you. And then we're going to have an encore or follow-up webinar in 2 weeks on the 26th, May 26th, the day after Memorial Day, where you'll have an opportunity to actually get access to the system that Brian and Bruno are going to showcase today. So I just want to kind of preference that so you guys are aware. You don't have to spend any money today, but this is to absolutely whet your appetite. I think it's a very powerful platform that they're going to be sharing for any of you that are doing agency work, client work, that kind of stuff. So with that, first of all, Bruno, how you doing?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Trying to make it by, I'm sure, with this craziness right now. But
Right.
Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah. Staying out of trouble, staying busy.
It's good.
So things are good.
You know, it's funny because even though, my revenue has declined a bit too, I think most of us have probably experienced that to some degree because of all this craziness going on in the world right now. But, this is not the time to slack off. This is actually the time to put your foot down, go harder. And I think this is a good opportunity for what you guys are going to be sharing today to show people that, how the power of automation and what it can do for your business. So with that, guys, I don't want to waste any more time. I'd rather just turn it directly over to you and let you guys do what you need to. I'm here for moral support if you need me, and occasionally I may interject with a comment or a question. Okay.
That would be perfect, especially if you can ask these like live questions. So it's like, because that also gives us like an idea of what to answer to. So let's jump into it. Brian, I guess I'll do the first screen share and.
Cool.
Okay. Can we confirm that it is, let's see, here's the live webinar. So let's just make sure that the screen share is working. Yeah, is it? Yes, it is. Okay, so guys, quick introduction about who I am. My name is Bruno Souza. My agency is Black Swan Media, and we work with clients of all sizes, from your typical like local companies to a couple of large Fortune 500 tech companies. So our clients are all over the place. On top of that, I do my own affiliate SEO. I have websites that get over 90,000 hits per month. I know that's not that big compared to the heavy hitters out there, but give me a break. I've been doing that for 8 months. And then on top of that, a little bit of personal information. I'm a college dropout and I'm passionate about science, math, and business. And I guess I'll click on Brian's slide so he can introduce himself.
Hey everyone. So Brian Cotto, own an agency called Fusion Vine in Colorado and was a PoFu Live attendee 2019. Got to meet Bradley and the rest of the Semantic crew and just fantastic stuff. Mostly I tend to work with a lot of local clients, predominantly in the home service industries. So plumbers, roofers, contractors, home remodeling, countertops, cabinetry, stuff like that. So basically any kind of construction. Professional coffee drinker. I love whiskey and love craft beer, as most Coloradans do. So
I knew there was a reason I liked you, Brian, besides the SEO stuff.
Awesome. We'll dive right in here.
Awesome. So guys, I want to share with you before we jump into this, it's like, I always think you need to prove results first before you start spouting whatever information you're going to spout. So this is my personal calendar for this week. And most of this was achieved through Go High Level. Our agency has 8 sales appointments scheduled for this week, all through outbound outreach that we do through Go High Level. We're going to show you guys how to do it. These 2 green ones here are just inbound calls. And then this is actually this webinar, so it's not sales related. And then I also want to share with you, because some of the things that we're going to be talking about is what we call the ultimate client retention system. So I'm not going to beat you guys over the head with testimonials over and over and like screenshots over and over, but this is just like one of my clients' dashboards from a 1 week long campaign that we did for them without doing any ad spend at all. We booked 151 appointments for them. The client is cleaning it up. They already have 6.3K in sales, and then they still have 110K in the pipeline to go through. And once again, 1 week campaign, no ad spend. Another campaign that we ran for a different client. This time it's a much higher ticket value here. So this client has 58 appointments scheduled. They've already closed 12K in deals, and they still got another 92K to go through. So the reason I'm once again putting that out there is just so you guys can start getting an idea of the kind of results that this is going to bring in. I'm talking 5 to 6 figure pipelines in under 7 days, if you can do the things that we show you how to do the way that we show you how to do them. So Brian, and like, if you let me, I will just speak forever. So like unmute yourself and like jump in whenever you want to like,
we're good.
That happen.
No. And so I'm actually seeing very similar kind of results. I ran this initially when I showed Bradley, Adam, and the rest of the Semantic crew. I hadn't really dialed in any of the pipeline that I had. Just since we initially spoke, I'm already up to a 5-figure pipeline on my own agency, as well as most of my clients. And the main reason for this is, as you mentioned, Bruno, you're not dealing with any ad spend. You're dealing with what the client already has, non-closed deals. You're dealing with a lot of things like that. And we'll go into that obviously in the Encore presentation, but the biggest benefit to High Level is that you can get better results with your existing clients because you're doing a value add. And this dovetails really, really well with the 2X Your Agency training that Bradley has put together. You're also showing the additional services that you can offer. So the initial thing, maybe a database reactivation, or it may be, kind of getting your foot in the door with these leads, but then you can always upsell them in and increase your ticket value, which is something that really any agency owner, if you can upsell and get, an extra $100 to extra, maybe $1,000 a month per client, why not? So, the bottom line is that this really positions you, as kind of one of the bullet points says on this, in a way that you're impossible to fire. For the end client to fire you, they would either have to replace you with 3 to 5 individuals and a multitude of other tools, or they stick with you, and at the same time you're providing exceptional results for them, proving to them that you can provide this kind of value in a pipeline. And why would they go anywhere? The thought doesn't even cross their mind. So
to sum all of that up, essentially what we're going to be showing you what to do with Go High Level is, 1, how to acquire new clients. We're going to give you new tools to get your foot in the door with people. I'm going to show you how to rig your sales process in your favor, so people are way more likely to say yes. You're going to learn how to, it's what I call the ultimate client retention system, where you become impossible to fire. And I guess at the end of the day, it makes you money and it saves you time, that's what marketing is all about. That's exactly what we want. So I guess we can jump into it. Just before we actually go into the tool, I guess there's 2 big concepts that we need to talk about. And these are called paradigm shifts. We have our beliefs about the world, and there's just 2 beliefs that we need to change in order for all of this to click. And the first paradigm shift is that, guys, don't limit yourself. Don't put yourself in this little box that you are an SEO. Understand that you are a marketer first and an SEO second, not an SEO first and a marketer second. Because some of our best clients that we've onboarded over the last couple of months, they already had page 1 rankings, and I'm getting paid way more than their SEO company is. And all of that is because we've managed to unbox ourselves. We're looking for new creative ways of generating results for existing clients. And so going along those lines, it's important that you guys understand that when you sign a contract with a client, you sign the physical contract, but then there's a hidden contract that you're signing as well. And that hidden contract states that you're going to generate ROI for your client. But here's the thing, as SEOs, we're taught, guys, deliver ranking reports, deliver traffic reports, and we never go the extra mile of bridging that gap between our results and ROI that we're bringing for the client. We never necessarily bridge that gap because a lot of us are too afraid to get into CRO. We don't know how to track that data. And so the reason that I'm bringing this up is because, as Bradley mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, it's like a lot of people are losing revenue. They're losing clients right now. And the reason for that is if your clients can't track the ROI that you're bringing them, and once again, I'm going to be giving you guys the solution to this. If they can't track the ROI that you're bringing them, then there's that gap in knowledge between your results and your ROI. They're going to fire you or they're going to scale back, because right now businesses, they're risk averse. They're looking to trim fat. And if they feel like there's a risk in that gap, you're going to get cut. But if at any point the business sees like, hey, you've provided me with irrefutable evidence that you made me 22K or you made me 16K and I only spent 2K with you, guess what? They're not going to fire you. You're the last person to fire because you're the one guy that's bringing in a definitive ROI for them. And so this is part of that first paradigm shift, which is the marketing shift, that understand that there's different ways of getting results for your clients. And then on top of that, you need to be able to prove ROI because they have an unspoken expectation that that's what you're going to generate for them. They associate page one rankings with clients, and secretly what that means is ROI. And then Brian, do you want to explain time stacking?
Yeah, so time stacking, this actually dovetails, as I mentioned, right in with what 2XA really involves. And it's doing more with less. So taking your VAs, the first reason that we hire them in the first place is because we obviously can't do everything all by ourselves. So you need to stack your time. It's what is it, Bradley? Automate, delegate, or eliminate, right? So
muted, but yes, automate, delegate, or eliminate. If those are the three ways that you can scale your agency. So, and remove yourself from being the bottleneck.
Right. And so time stacking really involves doing more with the same amount of time that you have in a day. So the best way to do that, automate, delegate, eliminate. And with the high level system, you're able to do all of those. So,
and then just to put,
go ahead.
Just to put that into perspective for you guys, why is a company like Microsoft able to get, like, we all think we have 24 hours in a day. And I'll put this into a very practical example for you guys. We all think we have 24 hours in a day, yet companies like Tesla, Microsoft, all these big companies, they get hundreds and hundreds of hours of work done in a single day. Now, if you're an agency or a marketer and you're like living by that 24-hour time limit where you're the only one that works in your business, you're only getting those 8 hours of work done in a single day, you're only going to grow at that rate. But if you can start automating the things that you have to do, then boom, you're going to be able to scale, because now in a single day, you can get 50 hours of work, 60 hours of work. Just to give you guys a practical example, for us, the first big thing that we automated at our agency was building out social profiles and citations for our clients. Normally that was like a 16-hour process that I would be doing myself when I picked up my first clients, because I'm building like 300 of them and making sure everything's super optimized. And then once I actually got a VA to help me with that, it's like, boom, I can get 16 hours of work done in a single day without me having to do that work. And so that's the idea of time stacking. It's like, how much time of work can we actually stack into a single day, and how do we break that 24-hour time barrier? And if you can understand these two things of there's new ways of generating results for your clients, and I can generate these results without being involved in the business itself by automating it, then you guys are basically going to be on like the fast track to learning how to use Go High Level. Is there anything you want to add, Brian, before we go to the next slide?
No, let's jump in the next slide. I think we actually covered a lot on this next slide as well. And this is the becoming irreplaceable.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people, like right now, you're losing clients. Clients are bailing out. They're cutting back. They're doing what they want. And that was something that I was afraid of until I realized, actually, my clients can't fire me and they can't cancel on me, because for them to do that, it just doesn't make any more sense. I'm too expensive to replace. And this part we covered here, where I was talking about clients, they need to make more money right now. They're looking to trim the fat and eliminate all risk. And what I mean to this is Go High Level is going to give you guys access to a lot of different automation channels. And so it's going to give you access to like email marketing, text marketing, voicemail marketing, Facebook Messenger marketing, forced phone calls. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say you have a PPC ad, a client lead fills out the form, the lead's phone will ring and the client's phone will ring. So you have like 5 or 6 different channels of automated marketing that you can do. And then on top of that, you're able to book appointment. And by the way, we haven't talked about this yet, but Go High Level is going to replace like probably 15 of the different tools that you're gluing together through Zapier. Um, but anyway, so you're able to offer like all these services to your client. It's like no effort to you. So it's like you're running 6 different marketing for them. You're responsible for their SEO. Maybe you're doing their paid advertisement. You're responsible for their CRM. You're doing all this client booking. And it's like now for them to replace you, it's like they got to buy at least like 10 different tools. And then they got to go hire somebody to go do all that stuff. And then it's like, at that point, it's like, why am I even firing my SEO guy? It's like, he's over delivering way too hard. And so when it comes to becoming irreplaceable and unfireable to your clients, there's 2 layers. The first layer is you're providing irrefutable evidence that you're bringing ROI to the business. And the second layer is you're just too expensive to replace. It's like you offer way too much value. And if your client were to replace you, they'd spend way more than what they're currently paying. Did I sum that up about right?
I think so. And just as a point of clarification, for anyone that's gone through the 2XA program, as far as the forced voicemails, as you were talking about, Bradley refers to those as like voice drops or the ringless voicemail. So the entire system automates all that. Like you mentioned, call tracking. You can do SMS outbound texts. You can actually even do correspondence. So not just outbound, but carry on the conversation within the platform as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, when we had the call to prepare for this, I mentioned that after going through the platform and realizing, how much of a pain in the ass it is to kind of duct tape a bunch of different apps together using Zapier, it totally works, but it takes a lot of patience to kind of put all of that stuff together and kind of work through the interesting ways to push data from one app to another inside of Zapier. And then, as I mentioned before, if any one of those apps, especially multi-step Zaps, has a hiccup somewhere, it cascades all the way through it. And so it can create a nightmare of management just to maintain the Zaps through all these different apps that like I say, kind of are duct taped together or band-aided together. And so that was one of the first things I recognized when I looked inside this platform. I was just like, man, this is going to make things so much easier because it's kind of a seamless integration between the different components that they kind of all talk to each other. And I think that's going to be a huge time saver in itself.
Yeah. And at the end of this presentation, we'll give you guys a graphic that shows you all of the different services that this app replaces. And then just on that note, whenever I see a tool that does like 15 different things, I'm always like highly skeptical. I'm like, are you the jack of all trades and master of none? Like, is that what's going on? Like you can do 15 things, but you're just mediocre at all 15 of them. But in this case, I was like, so when I went into Go High Level, it was either November or like early December of 2019. I went in with really low expectations. I thought it was going to be crap because it's like, you're saying you can do all this, but from my experience, it's like, it's just going to be very bad at everything that it does, but it actually wasn't. It's way better than most of the tools out there and does a far better job than a lot of them. And so I know a lot of you are probably going to have that same thought of like, yeah, it's cool that this thing can do like 15 different things, but is it going to be mediocre at all 15? And it's like, no, it won't. Then I even have a sign on the back that says F mediocrity, because it's not about that stuff. And so now that we've kind of gone over like the different basics, like shown you guys a couple of like the screenshots of like, here's a ton of sales appointments that I have. Here's some screenshots that our clients are getting. We've talked about the different paradigm shifts. And then now you understand that it's like, we're trying to become the ultimate client retention system by becoming too expensive to replace. Now we can actually start sharing some like stories, examples of like how we're using this tool and actually get into it. So and this is Brian's dashboard, by the way. So I can let you talk about that.
Yeah, so this is actually my business. And one of the things, as I mentioned, between the initial Loom call or the video that I'd sent over to Bradley and just the couple weeks that, it's been, you can see I've already got 42 opportunities using the very, very simplified system. Right out of the gate, you can see that my dashboard or my pipeline value right now is worth 30K. And the conversion rate on it's just under 10%. Now, obviously, as more opportunities kind of come and go, that number is going to fluctuate up and down. But just out of the gate, this dashboard alone right here shows me that, at a glance, and even if I was a client, I can look at this and say, okay, well, this is what kind of value you're bringing to the table. So it becomes very transparent with, how you're going about doing this, what kind of value you bring to the table, and then, any of these particular funnel nodes or the pie chart here, you can actually click on any one of them and it eliminates it from the system. So if you wanted to really zero in on what's our, what's going from top of funnel or tofu down to bottom of funnel, what does that really look like? And you can start eliminating steps, focus in and segment out, where are we losing clients? Is it that we have a mediocre sales pitch, so they come in the funnel, we're getting a lot of inbound traffic, or we're getting a lot of even outbound traffic coming into the funnel, but then we start losing a middle of the funnel and they never actually convert. So you can actually do conversion optimization on your own funnels really quickly by unticking and ticking the various levels of that. So again, irrefutable visual evidence for a client. And if a client looks at this and says, hey, you're bringing 30K to the plate and I'm paying you, $1,500 or, $2,500 a month. I mean, they're making that hand over fist in a pipeline. And then depending on what they're converting, that's proof in and of itself as well. So I personally even been using this to eliminate a lot of the reporting. Again, talking about automate, delegate, or eliminate. For me, it's automating it through this process. My clients, all of them have a login to the actual white labeled dashboard. And so it looks, it's all branded under my business. And then this also integrates with like Google Analytics, any of the reputation, basic reputation monitoring from Google My Business. You can look at the pipeline, the lead value. You can see sentiment analysis all within this. So this is my report. I've just eliminated a lot of my, reporting data. If I want to throw in like a keyword tracking, just because some clients are all about that, I print off a report, or automate that through the various platforms I'm using. But this becomes my report. So I've both automated and eliminated that entire process. So client wants to see how their business is doing, log in. This gives you a quick snapshot of where your business is at, how it's performing, and at the end of the day, what kind of money are you going to see coming through?
And now, guys, everything that we show you from this point on, always reference it back to what I was saying, that you become too expensive to fire. Guess what? By the way, this dashboard is what bridges that gap between your results and ROI that you bring them. So this is that bridge that I wanted to show you. But guess what? Most clients, I don't have to sell them the CRM portion of this. I'll just run a marketing campaign and let them log in and they're like, hey, what is this? And I'm like, oh, just this cool CRM thing, like just check it out. And they're like, well, we're paying $300 a month for Pipedrive, or we're paying $2K a year for HubSpot, or whatever they're paying. And now they switch off of that and they join this. So you've now replaced their CRM. That means for them to fire you, they not only need to rebuild a new CRM, but they need to go pay for a new one. And that's some very expensive stuff. So that's one check mark in the let's never fire Brian or Bruno or Bradley that you guys get to keep. And this falls in line with the concept that I call no BS marketing. And Bradley, we're not allowed to have a potty mouth here, right? I'm like trying to pay attention to my words.
Have you never been to any of our webinars, man? Marco's not on, but Marco was on. There have been 8 F-bombs dropped already. So
right. That's
okay,
usually how he starts it off. F Google.
Okay. I could have remembered. I just wanted to be respectful, but it's no bullshit marketing. And what I mean by that is if you're a shitty marketer, it's going to be up on that dashboard because you're not going to be bringing in results. But if you're a good marketer and for whatever reason the client's giving you shit, there's not going to be a room for argument because you're going to have all the data. And let me give you a very practical example for that. So I do a lot of lead generation. And I used to have clients that would call me and say, hey, Bruno, the leads that you're sending me are garbage. These are terrible leads, like complaining all the time. And this is a real screenshot from a client account. All of these are actually real screenshots from client accounts. But so this also replaces phone tracking, by the way, guys.
Call rate.
Yep. Yeah. So I had their phone number hooked up to Go High Level, and I'm like, really? So you think the leads I'm sending are garbage? Well, let's take a look at the phone logs and see what's going on. And the first thing that I can see is maybe I can zoom in. Oh, how do I zoom in here? Can you guys see this image all right? Bradley, you're muted.
I was muted. Go to the view button in the top left corner.
God, top left view.
Yeah, view, and then you should be able to zoom in on it. Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, zoom. Let's do like 200. Wow, that helped.
Not much, huh?
No, maybe if man, I want to
You could
figure
do
out a way of
Control
like,
Plus too, and that might zoom in on it
okay, so
from your browser.
control.
There you go.
Okay, so kind of. So it's like, yeah, this view sucks. But what I want you guys to see is it tracks if calls were answered, if it's the first time that customer is calling, and then records the call and the duration. And so when this client was like, Bruno, your leads suck, I'm like, do they though? Because here's your call log, and all that I'm seeing is that your administrator sucks at picking up the phone. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you know how to use your dashboard. Go log in and check out the phone logs. And they're like, okay. So then I get a call back from this person saying, oh my God, we've been working with this person. We've had the same administrator for 3 years. And I can't believe that as the face of our company, they haven't been answering the phone. Like and I'm like, yeah, if your business hasn't been going the way you want it to, maybe it's because your admin doesn't pick up the phone. And then the one call where the admin did answer, it was such a cringy conversation. I couldn't personally finish it. I just sent it to the client and I was just like, take a look at this. And guess what? Administrator gets fired, gets replaced with a way better lady. And the point that I'm getting at is you become way more valuable to your clients on so many levels, because now you're not only the SEO guy, you're not only the marketing guy, but you're the person that they can trust. You can identify the bottlenecks in their business and help them grow that way. Like this business, who knows how long they would have even stayed in business if their admin can't even pick up the phone. And what I've done there is like, I've just eliminated a gigantic bottleneck that they were experiencing. So if a client tells me, Bruno, the leads are garbage, if they're actually garbage, I can listen to the phone calls and say, yeah, you're right, Mr. Client, I got to do a better job. But if it's something on the client's end, that's going to be super apparent because we have call tracking. We can see this data. The client can see this data. I don't have to send them to log in for CallRail or 10 different things. I just send them to the dashboard that they already have access to. And that brings us.
And I was just going to add, you become a trusted advisor at that point instead of just a commodity as an SEO guy, or, you know what I mean? Like you become a trusted business advisor, an actual business consultant, and it's way more powerful. It's much harder to, it's much harder to kind of disentangle from that type of a relationship than it is from just a commoditized relationship, which is what most SEO/marketing agencies are.
Yeah. Well, and when Bruno and I were talking about it, it's kind of funny. It's kind of the running joke is you can't walk down the street without spitting on at least 20 SEOs because everyone offers it. Like you're saying, Bradley, it's just this commodity where it's, I can't tell you how many, I'm sure even as an agency owner, all of us are getting these, the emails. It's like, hey, we can guarantee first page Google rankings, $200 a month, doesn't matter what niche it is. And then, it's just this commodity. And that full well that those kinds of ads and those kinds of lead gen, campaigns, they're not going to yield any results. You're going to be pissing away $200 a month. You're going to walk away from it. And then you're going to be like, man, these shitty SEOs every single time,
Yeah. And that, even that little saying that Brian was having, that's actually from a true story where I walked into they're our biggest client now. They're a massive manufacturing company. They work with celebrities on different kinds of products. But when I walked into the meeting, it did not start well at all. Like as soon as I walk into the meeting, one of the members was just like, man, you can't even spit out the fucking window without hitting these damn SEOs in the face. And I'm just like, this meeting's starting off really well. It's like, here we go. So that's where that little saying comes from. And I'm like, damn, I can't believe we're like that. I can't believe there's so many of us. I thought I was special. Nope. So continuing on with the whole bottleneck and becoming the advisor, look at how deeply entrenched you're getting into the client's business and helping them and how many levels you're already delivering. It's like you got all this, you have the irrefutable visual evidence of ROI. You're stacking that on your favor so they know how much money you're bringing them. You're becoming that trusted advisor where you're able to help them. Like for you to look at their phone logs and is like, hey, your admin sucks. That's 10 minutes worth of work. That's saving them years and years of existential pain of not knowing why their business doesn't grow. And then on top of that, it's like you're stacking all these different services that they're all automated so you don't have to do any work. So it's like their email marketing, their text marketing, their voicemail marketing, their appointment booking, their funnels, their SEO, all that stuff. So it's like you're just stacking on that value, and it's so hard to get rid of you at that point. And that kind of brings to the next point, which is it is a CRM, and you can find and identify bottlenecks. So for example, this client here, I forget how many appointments we booked for them, but it was over 100. And and there wasn't a bottleneck here. I'm just showing you guys this because if there was a bottleneck, we could have fixed it. But the point being is like, I can see how many people didn't show up, how many people had to reschedule or cancel, how many people claimed the offer. I can see how many appointments were booked. And then if anything starts looking wonky about this pipeline, hey, I can be like, hey, Mr. Business Owner, it looks like a ton of people are showing up for your appointments, but you're not closing them. What's going on? How can we help you out? Mm-hmm. And that once again just kind of reinforces that idea of being the trusted advisor. Let's just quickly do a check for questions here and see what's going on. We got the clown prince.
Nothing yet.
Okay, cool. So let's minimize this. So then, Brian, do you want to talk about this slide?
Yeah, so looks like my graphic here got duplicated, but yeah, the big thing that any of the dashboards allow you to do is it helps you focus on any of the primary KPIs that really any business owner is going to care about. You know, how many leads are coming in? What's the pipeline value look like? Are we closing stuff? And then again, Google Analytics, this also integrates with AdWords and Facebook ads. So you can actually get reporting on that if you're running those. Another really cool thing that I just stumbled across, Bradley, was that this actually, like with the Facebook instant, what is it? The instant.
The mapping?
Yeah, it's basically like a mapping. It's like the instant experience, I think is what it's called with Facebook, where if you click through on the ad, it actually pulls up like a landing page within the Facebook ecosystem. And Go High Level, it actually integrates and you can map those fields into your CRM here. So if you're running any kind of Facebook ads, any of that data gets funneled into High Level here. The other thing is that this all of your landing pages or any of your funnels also support Facebook Pixel. So anyone that's jumping into your landing page or into your ads, you're already collecting that data. You're already pixeling them at that point. So again, you're creating more and more. You're creating a deeper integration with this system and your client, the way that your client is currently doing business. So.
And by the way, guys, everything that we're doing with Go High Level, I know it might seem like a lot of work. And I'll be honest, when you're setting it up, you do have to. It's like we're going to be giving you a jet plane here, but you still kind of got to learn how to pilot this thing. But once you actually get it going, it's completely self-sufficient where we don't do anything. Our client is responsible for managing their entire business at that point. And we're going to be showing you how to do that too. But it's like right now, our goal is to kind of introduce you to everything that Go High Level can do. And then on the Encore webinar, we're actually going to dive in and start doing like practical things and like step 1, step 2, that kind of stuff. But Brian's saying absolutely right. And then I guess now we can kind of talk about lead generation and how we're using this. So, man, this is a big one. It's like, I guess let's just start with being an SEO. And let me ask you guys, what does an SEO pitch look like? It kind of looks like, hey, Mr. Client, you're going to pay me more than what, do you want to give this one? I just saw you unmute yourself, Bradley.
Yeah, well, I've learned over the years that you don't sell SEO, you sell results, right? And if you try to sell SEO, you're going to lose the damn business owner. Like the moment you open your big mouth, you know what I mean? So
$200, man.
Yeah. And so you have to sell results, which is, more leads, more revenue. And that's really the approach that I take now. And, SEO is a component of an overall marketing plan that I'm going to implement for their business. And so that's just a small, it might be a huge component, but I don't ever emphasize that because I really want to just emphasize the results instead of the process itself, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you're not as well spoken as Bradley, or you haven't thought out how you're going to sell this yet, you're probably pitching it like, hey, Mr. Client, you're going to pay me more than what you pay on your mortgage. You're not going to see results for 3 to 6 months. And then I promise you, I'm not like the last 5 guys that screwed you over. And that's a hard sell. Like, I don't think the best salesperson could make that sell happen, especially if the client is just looking to grow their business. They're looking for digital marketing, and there's like the only person that's going to bite that bait is if they're specifically looking for SEO, which most local business owners, they're looking for marketing, not specifically SEO. But anyways, what I want to do is I want to introduce you guys to new ways of prospecting. My favorite bait, and this is literally the bait that I've used to get some of my biggest clients, is literally, I'll build you a 5 to 6 figure pipeline in under 7 days and you pay me if you're happy and we can talk business then. And so what I want to talk a little bit about is how you go about doing all of this with Go High Level, because there's all of these different systems. And all of it is kind of what Brian said. It's working with what you already have, doing more with less. And the best lead generation you can do for a client is using their existing database. Here's what I mean by that. I forget what marketer coined this, but somebody said like 6% of leads are hot leads that are ready to buy now. 60% of leads need to be nurtured and closed. And then 30 something percent are never buyers anyways. But 60% is that big chunk of the pie that everybody neglects, that you probably don't market to unless you're Semantic Mastery and they have their funnels. But most local businesses, they don't have that. You don't have that. Everybody just kind of leaves that 60% of the pie on the table. And guess what? Over time, this pie builds up. Over time, your clients or your prospects, they build up these massive databases of people that have come across their business but never transacted or closed, or maybe they canceled at some point. And guess what? That's the easiest marketing people to market to. You know they're interested in the service. You have their contact information. So what do? We just take their data, plug it into Go High Level, press 2 buttons and hit go. And these campaigns that I showed you guys here, where I said these were 1 week long campaigns without any ad spend, it's exactly that. We went into these businesses, we took their databases, we plugged them in and we're like, yeah, we'll book you guys appointments. And in under a week, we're getting them 6-figure pipelines. And these aren't just leads, these are booked appointments with people that are going to show up at the location. So like, here's another one. And this is all by, once again, you take the database, plug it into Go High Level, press the go button, and boom, everybody gets marketed too.
You know,
and as long
I'm sorry. I wanted to add quickly because I love what you're saying here, because there's several different ways. Like Jay Abraham, I remember he's real good about teaching how to optimize various parts of the sales process and how to optimize the revenue from clients. For example, you can increase transaction value, you can increase frequency of purchases, you can add new services. So that's how you take it. Remember, the hardest client to get is a new one, right? So if you already have clients, and this goes for your own agency as well as for your clients' businesses, right? So the hardest lead to acquire is a cold lead, a new lead. But once somebody's already interacted with your business, now you can, again, increase transaction value, increase frequency of purchases, increase, there's several different ways that I've always called it shaking the bushes. So for example, I might have clients that I've, been providing services for years, but if I find a new way to do something, like, for example, more recently, setting up branding campaigns using Google Ads, Display Network and YouTube and such, works really, really well. Well, instead of going out and trying to find new clients, why not first pitch that and offer that to my existing clients and add another stream of revenue to my business from existing clients? I don't have to sell them on trusting me. They already trust me. Well, the same goes for your clients, right? In other words, if your clients have already had some sort of business interaction, or at least some sort of contact with potential either customers, clients, or prospects, now that the introduction doesn't have to be made. It's already been made. So it's much easier to try to optimize that, squeeze more revenue from that existing database. And I've always called it shaking the bushes, because what happens when you shake the bushes, stuff falls out of it, right? And I've always thought of it as money, right? Money falls out. So I think it's a great opportunity. This is one of the things that really impressed me today when we had our call and you guys were showing me this about how you can go right off the bat and not even have them spend money on ads or SEO or anything else, and start showing a return on future investment by offering them this for free and doing an outreach campaign to their existing contact database.
Yep.
Yeah. And just think about how easy of a sell that is. Like, there's no commitment. It's completely risk-free. I'm promising you a 6-figure pipeline. And like I said, you only pay me if you're happy, and we can talk about business after that. How much easier, think about all the people that have said no to you. How much easier of a sell would it have been for you to close those deals if you had something like this, like back then? And I was talking to Brian about this. I was like, I don't know if I should talk about this on the webinar. It's kind of like dark, and like, I don't want people to like use it for the wrong reasons. But what you guys need to also realize is when you start doing this for clients, there's a massive power shift in your relationships. Right now, I can almost guarantee you that most of you, if a client were to leave you, you would be more upset than they would. But you're going to get to a point where your clients, where once they're like in this system, where you leaving them would be a nightmare, worst case, red button scenario for their business. And I think like 30 minutes or an hour before before this webinar, I had a client call me and they were actually like, hey, Bruno, how can we do this more? Like, how can we scale this? How can we do this more often? Do I need to introduce you to my friends? Can we do joint partnerships? Can we do this? Can we do that? And that's a frequent conversation that I have because there's this power shift where my clients are constantly looking for ways to keep me exclusive, working with them and trying to bring business to me. And so if like right now you're a marketer and you feel like your clients don't respect you or like whatever the hell is going on in your client business relationships, this is a gigantic power shift that happens. And it rigs everything in your favor where these people are going to do whatever they can to prevent you from leaving.
It's POFU mindset at its best. It's, it's completely POFU mindset where it's, that's fine. If you want to leave me, that's fine. I can take the same process. I can take this same system and go take it to your competitor for twice as much.
That's right.
Yeah. Not only that, but it's like, I can shut down your entire business. It's like, what do you have after you cancel with me? Like that's like the dark part that I was like, maybe I shouldn't share this on the webinar. It's like at that point, like you own, by the way, guys, if you apply this to a lead generation website, you have now a more fully functional business than most of the freaking contractors in that local city. Like if you put a CRM plus a lead gen website and you're building out the databases of people in that city that are interested in whatever you're doing, and you're doing these pay-per-lead deals, like that's more of a fully functional website or business than like what most of these contractors have. And now you're no longer a pay-per-lead guy. It's like you have a franchise.
And to just kind of preface what we'll be talking about in the kind of encore presentation, think about that. So if you have that database, and now instead of just focusing on, like, let's say you're in the HVAC guys, right? Obviously there's going to be things that come in there and they're like, hey, we need a plumber, we need a landscaper, we need all. Now you're in a PPL or pay per lead type of model where you could also take that database, because you're getting the info coming in whether you want it or not. You're going to get that data, and people are also probably going to be looking at other services. So then you can start looking at other avenues or other ways to either bridge the gap, network with people, or sell those leads. So you've just increased your value there as well, if nothing else, for an internal system.
Yeah, it's really this jet plane. It's like we kind of got to take it like one piece at a time before we start going into all like the crazy haywire shit that we're doing, and just setting markets into absolute chaos. So I think we were talking about lead gen. So getting into the whole point of lead generation, it's like when you guys have a tool like Go High, and you don't have to use Go High Level, it's just the best thing that we found out there. Like literally, it just replaces everything. But when you have a system like it built, you now have this irresistible offer that people are rigged to say yes to. You now have this entrenching system where once a client gets in with you, assuming you're a good marketer, there's really no reason for them to ever want to leave. You're not spending any ad cost. The time of, once you actually set it up, the amount of time that you have to spend is maybe like 15 minutes, less than that, because you're also going to be coaching your clients on how to log in and manage their dashboard. And aside from that, there's just all these different ways that you can package and you can sell it. It's like you can sell it as a CRM. You can sell it just as a calendar system. You can sell it as a text system. You can sell it as an email system. You can sell the whole entire thing. However you want to package it, you can package it. Yeah. And I guess just the last point with lead generation, one of the reasons why I fell in love with this business model instead of my traditional SEO, like, I'm not going to lie, guys, I'm an SEO at heart, but I'm falling more and more and more in love with this than SEO by the day. And it's because it's self-sufficient. It's like once I onboard a client, there's literally no work for me to do, because all I got to do is like, I get my ad guys running, my SEO agency is already pretty much automated, and I just plug people into the system and it's like plug and play. And I think I showed you my calendar, which is like, if you're looking, the majority of my time is literally spent growing my business, doing fulfillment, doing sales, and not doing fulfillment, which if you guys are looking to scale your agencies, that's at the core of it, is just, how do I minimize the amount of time that I spend fulfilling, and how do I maximize the amount of time I spend growing my business?
Amen. That's what the whole 2X Your Agency training was about, was get the hell out of your own way, stop being the fulfillment provider, and work on growing your business, do the high level shit. So
You want to jump into the next slide here, Bruno? So this is actually
yeah.
What I did is this is using non-high level graphing here, but what I'm using in this one is it's Garu, and I plugged in all of the stats for my high level, so you can just see kind of what one of my basic.
Wait, by the way, wait, Brian, I'm going to stop the screen share and I'm going to give it over to you, because even when I looked at this, I was like, hold on, I'm really dumb. I'm like this big monkey over here. I got to like go through this slowly.
Yeah, no worries.
So that way you can explain it.
Cool. Give me 1 second here.
I'm also going to turn on the AC for 1 second.
Let's jump into this one. Okay. So long and short of what I did here, I plugged in my automated sequences, and what I really did this for is just to kind of show you value and the multi-touch steps. So just kind of like with the 2XA program, what I'm doing here is I'm doing multi-touch points, and then really relying also on this voice drop. And what I found really effective in this particular campaign, just background on this is in a roofing niche. So we're talking home services. This is a roofer, existing database. And the first touch point I did is I marketed to all these people, set up an automation. So we have a text message campaign that went out. Hey, so-and-so, we're running, we do contactless roof repairs and estimates. Give us a call, if you want to set something up. So just kind of outbound. And I started with one of their older lists back, say in like 2012, 2013. So people that could potentially be looking at a new roof at this point. That SMS text, if people did reply to it, then, or if they did or didn't, they also get an email just letting them know, hey, we sent you a text message. By the way, if you didn't get that, here's the email. So it's a multi-touch here. I then wait 1 day and then fire off a ringless voicemail campaign, just more or less following up. There's really no sales pitch to it. It was just, so-and-so, I'm roofing contractor at XYZ company, and wanted to make sure you got our text message and our email. Feel free to give us a call back if you either want to book something or if you have any questions. So this entire campaign at this point was all automated. I mean, this is just a basic funnel that you can create and go high level: SMS, email, ringless voicemail. And if you can also set up if then kind of conditional formatting, so that if they decided that if we didn't hear back from them on any of these, it shoots them an email 1 day after this ringless voicemail that says, hey, we don't want to bug you. Obviously, if now's not a good time, we'll leave you alone. And it kind of does it flips it around where it's, maybe now's not a good time for you. If you don't want to talk to us, don't call us back. And a lot of times that gets a knee-jerk reaction with clients that they're like, oh, no, I actually did want to talk to you. Hang on. So you're marketing to them at multi-touch points here. Once they actually came in and I got them on the booking page, the sales page, this is actually more internal calling. Just in the diagram, I couldn't put like internal call. So based on zero advertising cost, aside from what I'm actually doing for the client, monthly revenue after my cut from what they're paying me, $22,000. And after their expenses, it's a profit of $9K. So for them to pay me a couple $1,000s a month and to see a $9,000 return on that after expenses are all taken care of. I mean, again, it goes back to that providing value where, I'm more than showing ROI, and they're actually going to be able to see their business grow with zero to little ad spend. Now, again, you throw display ads, the branded ads, like we've learned in 2XA, and now it just adds fire to this. You're adding a whole new layer onto something that's already making them really good money. It then becomes a ubiquitous brand saturation.
Amen.
Where everywhere you look, they become like, I mean, no one goes and looks for a facial tissue. They look for a Kleenex, right? You become that brand where you're like, oh yeah, the roofing guy, it's these guys over here. They're everywhere. I see them on Facebook. Yeah.
And how much time did it take you to actually run this campaign?
To start up, clean the database and all that, under an hour. The longest time was cleaning up the database and making sure that I had good data to work with. And I didn't even do that. That was a VA. So.
And then just for all the people that are watching this, you don't have to give the exact numbers, but did you charge over $1,000 for this one-time service?
I did.
So for 1 hour's worth of work that your VA did, you made over 1K.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds about right. And then Brian, I got one of my test accounts open here on my screen. So if like we did
Okay,
want to
yeah.
do something of a live and kind of show people how easy it
Cool.
really is, we can do that too.
Well, let's jump into these last couple.
Yeah, I was
things.
going to say, let's talk about the last few things too.
I think we should definitely hang off onto the encore if that's cool, Bradley, before we dive into the actual system here. Because
oh, you're right, we're running out of time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
for clarification, guys, we got an opt-in page for you guys that are attending now, and for the next 15 days, excuse me. We're going to have this replay go out. So you guys have plenty of opportunity to opt in for the encore webinar. And for that, we'll schedule at least, 90 minutes, because you guys are going to be showing some really powerful automations. Oops, should I not have said that? No, there's a lot of really cool things that we weren't able to set up for today's webinar, which is why we're going to do it in an encore instead. So again, guys, we're going to give you the opportunity to opt in for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for those of you who are patient, because I know, at least me, whenever I see a cool thing, I'm like, I'm going to buy this now. For those of you that are patient and actually wait for the webinar, you're going to get a whole bunch of cool bonuses, something that that we should probably talk about right now since we're on the slide for it.
So what these are is, I know in the 2XA, one of the things you shared, Bradley, was with the list platforms that you're using, it's being able to share those and easily replicate. And obviously, if you're having to manually go in, recreate a funnel, do any of that's time, and it's time taken away from prospecting and growing your agency. So one of the cool things with High Level here is that you're able to do what are called market snapshots. So out of the gate, High Level does this, where you can, let's say, let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Other way.
Wrong way. Oh my God.
Well, something just happened there. At any rate, let's see here.
I think it was pretty good before.
Yeah. Let me zoom out just right about there. So basically what you can do is you can go in here, and if there are particular niches or market verticals that you work within, they have some templates in here. So like an attorney or a dental practice. So they have some pre-populated funnels. Obviously, you want to kind of tweak those and make them your own. But the beautiful part about this is you can actually import or share. So if, say, for example, Bruno, and as far as the bonuses, we'll just kind of hint at this, there are particular funnels that can be created and then shared. So if someone has like a tried and true funnel that works in a particular industry, it's as simple as sharing a URL and it imports the entire funnel for you.
So not giving anything away or any hints here, but if I technically wanted to share my entire business model with you guys, it's kind of one click away.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And this also means that, let's say, so I'm very niche deep. It's kind of weird saying I'm niche deep when I have like 4 different niches, but I have a lot of clients in a couple of specific niches. So whenever I onboard a client, I've already done all the setup. All I got to do is just press this one button and it'll just clone the base of the account. And I pretty much already have an entire pre-built fulfillment platform for that client, which is what makes me go even more nuts about this tool. Cause it's like, that saves you time. It's like, you don't have to do the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, imagine
which is why I keep preaching about niching down and, sticking with an industry vertical so you can scale so much easier. So I love that. Thank you, Bruno.
Yes. And it's beautiful, guys. It just saves you so much money and it just saves you so much time. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. So cool. Let's jump into the next slide here, if you don't mind. So we talked a little bit about the different tools that this can potentially replace. And so this is just an example of some of the tools. Now, obviously you go deeper and deeper with integrations, and the tool, we've been seeing tons of upgrades or just different kinds of integrations that they're currently working on, different ways that it can possibly be used. And really, I think the goal of High Level is really to replace as many tools as possible with this. So one of the things that really kind of got to me, because I was getting into ClickFunnels, and I mean, at ClickFunnels, you're roughly looking at $297 a month. And with this, I mean, you're looking at a similar cost for agency. and you're getting all of these other tools here as well. So your email marketing platform, you're basically replacing Aweber and MailChimp. It has an SMS capability. It's got CallRail type tracking, so you can record calls, listen back to them, forward them to the business administrator and say, hey, or the business owner and say, hey, your admin or front desk sucks. They're making you lose money. Here's here's actually what's going on. And whether they get fired or they go in through like a PIP, personal improvement plan, or coaching or whatever, again, it sets you up as that consultant or the business growth strategist saying, look, my job here is to make your business more money to help it grow. Therefore, my value is, there's no way you're going to want to get rid of me. I'm one of your biggest assets as far as marketing is concerned. There are some landing page builders within here. You can white label it. There's again, the CRM pipeline, tracking and data points. And then also you can potentially even set up, I think they're doing membership, you were saying, right, Bruno?
Yeah, I was testing it out. I think it's still in the initial stages. I'll be honest, I don't like it too much, so I wouldn't necessarily give them the points on memberships yet, but they're like the Amazon of the tech world. So they're just trying to overtake everything, and they're just constantly improving, developing, making things better. So we'll see how the whole membership section plays out. But yeah, guys, and by the way, yeah, it's like, just take a look at this list, everything that you get. And the beautiful thing about it, white label, infinitely scalable, where you can add as many client accounts as you want without increasing the cost at all. And so it's just kind of a silly no-brainer, but guys, wait on it. Trust me, don't buy it yet. You're going to get a whole bunch of cool things. Like I got to anti-sell now. I got to unsell you guys.
That's all you need.
Webinar where we're not pitching something at the end other than sign up for the next webinar, but that is what it is, guys. We at last minute we decided that there was a lot of additional stuff that could be included that would make the offer so much better. So that's why we're doing it this way.
Cool.
Yes.
There's the link.
There you go. So yeah, guys. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with it as well. And like I said, it's just because once I realized how many of the different apps that I do pay for separately that are all kind of combined under one dashboard. And then the amount of effort that goes into making all of those apps talk together through Zapier. Like I said, it's a bit geeky just going through setting up multi-step Zaps, and you have to test it, which is, I don't know if anybody's ever done email automation testing with Zapier on how to pipe data from an email autoresponder to somewhere else, but you have to keep going to the landing page and signing up and make it, because, to see if the automation's working correctly. And then if you don't, then you got to go do it again and delete it from the database so you can do it again. And like, it's just a freaking nightmare. And I've gotten pretty good at Zapier, but I would have rather have not needed to, if that makes sense. So,
well, and one really cool thing with this is that if you have any of those existing Zaps set up, you don't necessarily need to just jump ship. This does actually allow for Zapier integration.
Sure.
So if there's anything that you're doing with, let's say we're going to want to put these in with, say, like an RYS. You can use Zapier to pipe things into Google Sheets, into, any of our Drive assets. You can pipe it out to basically any kind of Zapier integration could potentially be hooked in with this as well. So the other component of it, not only from a business growth mindset with it, but I honestly, I love tinkering with different tools and stuff like that. And I can actually see a lot of other things that could potentially be used to trigger like our IFTTT syndication networks. There's tons of stuff that we could potentially throw into this and integrate.
I just forgot. We didn't even mention the reputation management part.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Oh my God. Sorry, Brad, but this is like at least huge for me because, oh my God, it is such a, Ryan, is it okay if I share really quick?
Yeah, you're good. Let me stop sharing here.
Yeah, this might be like a personal, I just want to share this with you guys. This is like one of the banes of my existence when it comes to client SEO. It's getting Google My Business reviews for my client, or like getting them to actually get reviews for their business. You guys see this big green button over here? Whenever somebody shows up the business location, all the administrator has to do is check in client, and then they select the client's name, and then it now plugs them into an automatic review campaign that follows up with them. They can set up the timers to follow up with them, but it's like, now it kind of guarantees that every person that comes in that business is going to review that business. If you need to cancel a review because somebody's you didn't do a good job for somebody, you can do that too.
Or
But
if it's
this-
a service contractor, they do a client check-in at the customer's premise, right?
Correct. And it plugs them into a campaign that it basically emails and texts the client and follows up with them until they get for a couple of touch points until you get a review for the GMB. That's just like the last thing I wanted to share, because I was like, this was such a like quality of life improvement for me.
Yeah, if you're not systematically trying to solicit reviews from previous clients or customers, they're just not going to leave them. It's very rare for people to do that on their own accord, you know. So
Yeah, but don't buy it, guys. Do not get this.
so don't buy it. We just showed you something awesome, but don't buy it.
Right.
Instead,
Go sign up at the link.
Yeah.
Go
so-
wait 2 weeks and we'll make it worth your time.
And I promise that's the case, guys. So anyways, just wanted to tell you guys how much I appreciate you all coming on. I'm looking forward to the follow-up webinar and getting plugged into the system myself. I've got, a project that I'm working on in the mastermind right now that I'm, kind of sharing with everybody for a tree service contractor. And so I'm going to use that as kind of a little public case study for this. Well, I say public, but you know what I mean, to be able to share with people on how I'm going to use the high level system for that. So I think this is really, really good. Guys, go sign up for the webinar. If you don't, we're going to have this replay out. We'll send it out via email and all that. So we'll see you guys on Tuesday, the 26th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, guys.
Sounds great.
See you guys there. Catch you on the inside.
See you guys.
Have a good one.